The cameras flashed. The crowd froze.
And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Picture this. It is February 2014.
Sochi, Russia.
The Winter Olympics are at their absolute peak. The world is watching, and the snow is, practically glowing under those massive stadium lights.
Mm-hmm.
And standing there, with a silver medal draped around his neck, is the American free skier Gus Kenworthy. He's young, he's handsome, and he is an absolute overnight sensation.
And at this specific moment in time, he is basically the perfect American export, isn't he?
Oh, complete.
He's the guy in the Wheaties box.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. He isn't just famous for the skiing.
Right.
The cameras are eating him up because he is rescuing stray puppies from the streets of Sochi. The media dubs him the dog guy.
America is in love.
But here's the cinematic twist that the cameras missed. Behind that smile, behind the medal, and even behind the puppies, there is a suffocating secret.
He's terrified.
Terrified, doesn't even cover it. He is living a lie that feels like it's physically tearing him apart, because standing just a few feet away from him in that media chaos is his boyfriend.
Who has to pretend to be just a generic friend.
Exactly. It's that classic image of having it all on the outside, while internally you feel like you're holding a grenade with the pin pulled.
Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Today, we are unpacking a headline that reads, Olympian's Shocking Hidden Life.
But look, this isn't just tabloid gossip. We're doing a deep dive into the story of Gus Kenworthy. We're looking at the calculated facades, the celebrity shields, and the explosion of truth that eventually changed sports culture.
And we aren't just looking at the what happened. We're digging into the why.
Yeah, we have a stack of sources here, from deep profiles in Complex and ESPN the magazine to a really fascinating academic paper on something called the semiotics of the straight facade.
We're going to unpack how a make-cute gag about a celebrity crush became a desperate survival tactic.
And that's not even the wildest part. Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about how a fake romance with one of the biggest pop stars on Earth accidentally turned into a real alliance.
So let's get right into it.
To understand why Gus was so terrified in 2014, we have to understand the ecosystem he was living in. It wasn't just about being a guy who skis. It was about the business of being an action sports star.
This is where the context is crucial and, frankly, where the money comes in. We have to look at the action sports industry in the early 2010s.
Right.
According to that semiotics analysis we're looking at, this wasn't like the NFL or the NBA.
Right. In the NFL, you have a union. You have a team contract. You have protections. If you get cut, you still have a contract in place, usually.
Exactly. Action sports athletes are independent contractors. They are basically walking, skiing billboards.
Huh.
The analysis points out that 80% of Kenworthy's income, which was estimated between $500,000 to $1 million a year, came directly from sponsors.
Like Nike, Monster Energy, Atomic, those big names.
And those brands in 2014 were selling a very specific fantasy. They weren't just selling skiing, they were selling the alpha male.
Ah, okay. The archetype.
The industry demanded it. Aggression, partying, heterosexuality, and, to put it bluntly, pulling girls. The culture was incredibly homogenized.
You wear the same flat-brimmed hat, you drive the same lifted truck, you chase the same lifestyle.
Exactly. The sponsors weren't paying for the tricks alone. They were paying for the lifestyle that sold the energy drinks.
So coming out wasn't just a personal risk of, will my friends accept me? It was a cold, hard business decision.
It was viewed as financial suicide. That's the term the sources use.
Wow.
If you deviate from the brand, the checks stop coming. There is no team owner to protect you. Gus described the experience of dating in the closet under these conditions as a form of, well, torture.
Constantly lying by omission just to protect his livelihood.
And the media didn't help. During Sochi, the frenzy was intense. Everyone wanted to know who the golden boy was dating.
Which leads us to our first shield.
Right. The media found a narrative they loved, Gracie Gold.
Team USA's golden couple. It's almost too perfect, right?
The names alone, Gold and the Golden Boy. Marketing gold, pun intended.
It really writes itself. Gracie Gold was the figure skating darling. Reports started linking her to Gus immediately.
And there's this article from 2014 that breaks down a Today Show interview. Gus is sitting there under the lights, and they ask him point blank if they are dating.
Now, normally, if you aren't dating someone, you just say no.
Right. But Gus gives this answer, no. Well, maybe.
That well, maybe.
That well, maybe is what that semiotics paper calls a tactical deflection. It's Brilliant, really, but also kind of tragic.
He knew the media wanted a romance. By giving them a coy maybe, he fed the beast without actually lying, but also without revealing the truth.
He played along to survive the scrutiny.
But the irony is, while he's playing coy about Gracie Gold, the reality of his life in Sochi was complicated by the very thing that made him famous: the puppies.
This is a detail from Complex that really stuck with me. The narrative the world saw was Gus Kenworthy, the hero who saved the dogs. It was everywhere.
But the reality?
His boyfriend at the time was in Sochi with him, and according to the source, the boyfriend did a huge amount of the actual work.
He was the one organizing the logistics.
He organized the rescue, he dealt with the paperwork, he dealt with the vets, but he couldn't take a shred of credit.
Because Gus had to be the face of it.
Right, to avoid questions about who this mysterious guy was tagging along with him.
That has to be corrosive to a relationship. You're standing right there doing the work, and the cameras are literally looking past you.
The source notes that it caused deep resentment. Imagine saving these animals, doing the heavy lifting, and watching your partner get the magazine covers while you have to literally hide in the background.
It created a rift that started to crack the foundation of his private life, even while his public life was skyrocketing.
You can see how the lie starts to rot the relationships around him. But Gracie Gold and the puppies were really just the warm-up act.
Right. Because the biggest shield, the biggest distraction, involved one of the most famous pop stars on the planet.
We are talking about the Miley Cyrus strategy.
It's Valentine's Day 2014. The pressure is on. Gus is in an interview with NBC, and the reporter asks the dreaded question: who is your celebrity crush?
Now, for you or me, or for a straight athlete, this is a throwaway question. You name a hot actress, everyone laughs, you move on.
For a closeted athlete in the middle of the Olympics, Refinery 29 describes this moment as a stomach-churning panic.
Because he can't tell the truth, he freezes. He can't say Zac Efron. He can't say Jake Gyllenhaal.
So his brain scrambles. He needs a name that is female, famous, and believable. And he lands on Miley Cyrus.
Which is strategically genius if you think about it.
It's perfect. Miley is the it girl of that moment. She's wild, she's sticking her tongue out, she's releasing bangers, she's everywhere.
Saying you have a crush on Miley Cyrus is like holding up a neon sign that says, I am a chaotic, fun, heterosexual male.
It aligns perfectly with the Monster Energy vibe.
And it worked almost too well. The NBC Olympics Twitter account tweeted it out. It went everywhere. And then the unexpected happened.
Miley actually responded.
She tweeted back. She posted his photo with the puppies. They became digital friends.
And this is where that semiotics analysis gets really interesting. It calls this relationship a social buffer.
A social buffer.
Essentially, as long as he is publicly flirting with Miley Cyrus on Twitter, no one is looking for a boyfriend.
Her fame creates a blinding light that hides everything else. It distracts the audience from looking too closely at his personal life.
But it didn't stay on Twitter. This is the part that blows my mind.
Right. Miley's Bangerz tour comes to Denver. Gus goes. And later, on a podcast called Allegedly, Gus admits that they hung out at the after party.
And it wasn't just hanging out. He admitted they actually made out.
He clarified later, we never slept together, but we had a makeout.
Think about the layers of performance there. He is using a physical act with a woman to fortify the wall around his secret.
It's performance art for survival. But while the public saw this cool skier guy macking on a pop star, the internal reality was devastating.
Yeah, we need to talk about the emotional toll here. There is this interview from Attitude in The Guardian where Gus gets really raw about this period. He admitted that he cried after sleeping with women sometimes.
That detail stops you in your tracks.
He described the pain of holding on to the lie. He felt like he was torturing himself. He was trying to fit this narrative, the alpha male, the ladies' man. But every time he succeeded in the public eye, he was hurting himself in private.
It creates a dissonance. The more the world applauded Gus the ladies' man, the more isolated Gus the person became.
And that pressure cooker was bound to explode.
If you're hooked on this deep dive into the reality behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button. We've got more hidden Hollywood histories coming your way.
And speaking of pressure cookers, we have to talk about the moment where he almost blew the lid off everything.
This brings us to the breaking point. Because there was a moment in Sochi where he almost ended it all. Not his life, but the lie.
This detail from Complex is profound.
Gus and his boyfriend had a plan. A secret protest.
The plan was, Gus finishes his run in Sochi. He gets to the bottom of the mountain. The cameras are rolling, broadcasting live to the world.
He finds his boyfriend and he kisses him live. on TV, in Russia.
And we have to remember the geopolitical context here. This is 2014. Russia had just passed aggressive anti-gay propaganda laws.
A kiss like that would have been an international incident. It would have been a protest and a coming out all at once. It would have been dangerous.
But he didn't do it.
He lost his nerve. And honestly, who can blame him? The weight of that moment.
He said he felt horrible afterwards. He won the silver medal, but he felt like a coward. He couldn't talk to anyone about the victory or the failure.
And that silence followed him. By 2015, a year later, the pressure was unbearable.
He's at the X Games, and he just breaks. He goes to his agent, Michael Spencer, who he calls a second dad, and says, I don't want to ski anymore.
Think about that for a second. He is at the top of his game. He's an Olympian. And he wants to quit the sport entirely because he simply cannot be himself.
This is where having the right people in your corner matters. Michael Spencer didn't just say, buck up. He gave him a strategy.
The business strategy for coming out, Spencer told him, don't quit. Instead, become undeniable.
Undeniable.
Become the #1 ranked skier in the world. Win everything. If you are the best in the world, the sponsors can't drop you.
It's the too big to fail strategy applied to an athlete.
So he channeled all that frustration into winning.
Exactly. Make your talent so loud that it drowns out the prejudice.
And Gus did it. He went on a tear. He secured that #1 ranking.
And then, October 2015, he executes the plan.
He doesn't do a press release. He doesn't do a tweet. He goes on the cover of ESPN, the magazine.
Which is the holy grail of sports machismo. You don't get more alpha than that cover.
And the headline is just, I am gay.
So remember Miley Cyrus, the Shield?
Yes, this is my favorite part. What happened when the Shield found out she was a Shield?
Well, this is the beauty of it. She pivoted instantly from crush to ally.
According to ET Online, she posted that ESPN cover on her Instagram. She called him a badass effing Olympic athlete.
I love that energy.
She wrote that he had won something much bigger than a medal. He had won his freedom.
She transitioned from being the person he hid behind to the person standing right next to him.
And that leads us to the corporate reaction. He was terrified of losing the Nike money, the monster money, that financial suicide we talked about earlier.
And this is where the industry shift happened. The fear was that he would lose value. But in reality, authenticity became a new form of currency.
He didn't lose the sponsors.
Not only did he not lose them, he gained new ones. He did a campaign for Head & Shoulders. And this is significant.
It featured the very first pride flag in a national TV commercial.
That's historic. From being terrified to name a celebrity crush to holding a pride flag on national TV for a shampoo commercial.
He became a brand ambassador for Prada. He was the face of H&M's Pride collection.
The alpha male archetype crumbled, or rather, it expanded. Gus proved you could be the best skier in the world and be gay.
But wait till you hear what came next, because there was one thing left to do. That protest kiss in Sochi that never happened.
The universe has a funny way of circling back.
Fast forward to the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. 4 years after the fear of Sochi, Gus is now competing as an openly gay man.
He's at the top of the slopestyle course. He's about to drop in for his qualifying run. The NBC cameras zoom in. And there is his boyfriend at the time, Matthew Wilkus.
And he doesn't hide him. He doesn't introduce him as a friend.
He kisses him.
And it was broadcast live on NBC.
The Hollywood-worthy kiss that failed in Russia happened naturally in Korea. It wasn't a protest this time. It was just life.
It became this historic moment for LGBTQ visibility in sports.
It's amazing to think about the difference 4 years makes. From panic attacks in interviews to a casual kiss seen by millions.
And frankly, after the Olympics, he didn't stop. He pivoted hard into Hollywood.
Yeah, looking at his IMDb here. He's an American Horror Story, 1984. He's an 80 for Brady. He was on Will and Grace.
He really leaned into the visibility, but he also kept a sense of humor about it. There's a great interview in Pride Source where he jokes about being a bad gay.
A bad gay? Why?
Because he had never watched The Golden Girls.
Oh, no. That is a cardinal sin in some circles.
Apparently his boyfriend was appalled, but it shows that he wasn't trying to be a perfect symbol anymore. He was just being Gus.
And that's the journey, isn't it? From the terrified puppy guy hiding in plain sight, using Gracie Gold and Miley Cyrus as shields, to the badass Olympian who changed the landscape for queer athletes.
It really is, and I think the most powerful summary comes from Gus himself. In a CBS News interview, he reflected on his labels.
What did he say?
He said that after Sochi, he was the dog guy. Then after coming out, he was the gay guy.
Right.
But his hope for the future, he hopes that the gay guy isn't the defining characteristic. It's just a part of the person who wins the medals.
The person who wins the medals. I like that. It reminds us that at the end of the day, these headlines we read, the scandals, the secrets, they are about real people trying to navigate impossible expectations.
Absolutely. And in Gus's case, breaking the expectation didn't break his career. It made it.
Hmm. Well, that wraps up this deep dive into the shocking hidden life of an Olympian.
A story of facades, pop stars, and finding the courage to just be.
If you enjoyed unpacking this story with us, make sure you're following the show so you don't miss the next one.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.
See you next time.